right, welcome back to the Perry Homes podcast. I'm Trevor Taylor, and I'm here with the host, Steve Peterson. I'm the co-host, but
wait, I want to be the co-host.
Okay,
today.
all right.
Oh,
We'll start over.
Okay.
We'll start over. Welcome back to the Perry Homes podcast. I'm Trevor Taylor. I'm a host here, and with my co-host, my lovely co-host, Steve Peterson, the president of Perry Homes. I'm the marketing director, and we're here today with our special guest, Araya.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Up from St. George.
I know.
So,
brought the heat
exciting.
with us.
Yeah, it's hot in here.
Yeah, in the studio, we got to be.
It's 85, I think it said out there.
85
degrees in here.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you see us sweating, it's because we're going to really ask Araya some hard questions.
Yeah, I'm going to sweat out. Got the lie detector test and everything right here hooked up.
Plus, it's Araya Mario. Right?
Yeah, it
he
is.
was teaching us his name in one of our earlier meetings. I'm like, Araya Mario.
Mario.
Sweet.
That middle name is there. That
That's
follows
awesome.
me all the way through.
What's the last name?
Marino.
Araya Mario Moreno.
Yep.
That sounds
Love
like
it.
a movie star name.
It does, yeah.
I know. I got used as a stage name, right?
Well, Araya, tell us a little bit about yourself, your personal life, what you like to do, where you're from.
So, a little bit all over. My family, both my parents were in the Army. So
Okay.
I was a little bit of a military brat. Started off with my grandfather, who was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, wow.
Started off with that. Then my mom happened to be in the Army, and then she met my father, who also was in the Army. And then me and my older brother, younger brother, decided to be rebellious, and we're like, we're joining the Marine Corps.
Nice. Like Grandpa.
Yeah. So I went ahead and went on my mission back in 2006 to 2008 to DC South Mission.
Oh, nice.
Did-
I used to live in Alexandria, by the way.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
I know exactly where that's at. Awesome. So I did that, and then as soon as I came back, I was like, yeah, I'm going to join the Marine Corps. Met my wife on the way and told her, I was like, you got to jump on and go, or I don't know. But she was like 100% into it. She's awesome. She's the one that held it down, because she's like, yeah, we're going. Let's go.
What did you do in the Marine Corps?
I was a 5811, which is the military police and security force.
Wow.
So on deployment, you're usually doing security for the grunts that want to go bust down doors and get all the hard work, while you're sitting a perimeter around and kind of watching their back as they're doing that work. And then when you come back stateside, usually you're either training to go for another deployment, or you're watching the gates and helping out with the garrison work around there. So I did that from 2009 to 2014 before I got hurt and I hurt my back, and I ended up having to change course,
Yeah.
which kind of worked out because my wife's grandparents lived in St. George, and they needed help in their later stages of life, so we decided to move here. And it happened to work out because it's the only school that took me in.
Nice.
Because I wasn't smart like most kids and do those tests, like do all those tests. I was like, I got no test for you. And they're like, that's you're a veteran. Come on in.
Love it.
That's awesome.
And then in 2018, I got my bachelor's degree in business with a focus around marketing and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Oh, good for you. And that was Dixie State or Utah Tech?
Utah Tech.
Utah Tech
Yeah.
now. Yeah, it's Utah Tech. It was Dixie State on mine, but it's Utah Tech now.
That's awesome. And then in 2018, when were you hired with Perry Homes?
So I think it was the beginning or towards the end of 2018.
Right.
Yeah, because I joined up Perry Homes during that final year of the business school. Right around October, I joined up in there and worked as a transaction coordinator, just mainly doing the brokerage work.
Okay.
But that since has evolved into
Tell us what you do now. 'Cause you
into a
have
bunch of things.
You wear a lot of hats. Down
Yeah,
in
I
St.
call
George.
myself the assist down there because I just got it all down. So
The
I still
assist. I like
the
that.
assist.
The John Stockton.
There you go.
So I still do the transaction coordination work, and now I do the customer service and the warranty work, and the marketing, and sometimes I go out there and help the supers with the work they need to do. So if it's available for me to do, I'm not sitting down doing nothing. I want to do everything.
So tell us what a day in the life is like for you.
So usually with customers, I try to get them to get me in the morning just because it's 110 right now, and you're like trying to beat the heat. So I usually try to get them between 7 and 10 if I can. Get the customers to go ahead and let me go meet with them. And there I usually either have the sub or I have the super come with me to be like, hey, I'm not exactly sure what I'm talking about, learn to build a house, but just make sure I'm giving the right direction or right course of action to fix whatever they might have or whatever issue might come up. and then come back by 10, switch gears over the transaction coordination job and try to catch up with all the agents to see what they've turned in, the contracts and all the paperwork they need, and making sure they have all their marketing material. And then switch back over to customer service and make sure no one has sent anything, because sometimes those emergencies might happen in the middle of the day with air conditioning or water problems. We'll switch up to that real quick. So I'll switch back to that. Then I will probably go help Brady walk the lots to make sure they're all good, or help the supers if they're off things, walk the lots to make sure they're all kept up and inspected, and then by the end of the day, I'm switching back to customer service again.
Hey, that's a really interesting day. Let me ask you an oddly specific question.
Yeah.
So, because my day is similar to that, I'll be in a strategy meeting where we're looking at the 5-year plan and kind of big overarching strategic, and then the very next minute I'll be looking at some internal documents that we need to change the language, and we're looking at, does this comma go here or here? And I feel like I get mental whiplash sometimes.
Yeah.
How do you switch between those very different things and kind of recalibrate to focus on what you got to do next?
I feel like the first while it took me a minute to where they were saying I was missing things, and I was like, okay, I just got to make sure I have a checklist going through this no matter what, because if I go through real estate and I'm going through all the contracts and trying to make sure Brady's getting all his paperwork in the proper form, and kind of try to go over to customer service, I was I was filling out new contract stuff on the warranty request and being like, oh, that's not the person that talked to me. So it's almost like switching personalities. Doesn't it feel like that way, kind of way, where it's like I'm being super direct with you, and then I switch over to customers, and when I switch to customers, it's like, okay, I can't just be like, this is how it's going.
It's a whole different
Let's
mindset.
talk about it. Yeah. So it does feel like you kind of get tossed around, especially for, I would say, like the first 2 or 3 months. It was hard, like turn the switch on and off between the attitudes and the mental state I had to kind of take onto it. But
same way. Yeah.
after a couple months, I was like, okay, I'm good in customer service. Switch. I gotta be very nice.
Okay, good. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we appreciate you being here. And one of the last questions that we ask everyone that comes on this podcast is, in your opinion, Araya, why should someone buy a Perry home?
I bought a Perry home. I absolutely
Nice.
love I absolutely love the process. It was so easy just to be direct, and I actually used the agent because I didn't want to feel like I was bugging the superintendent. So we actually went through with an agent and actually let the Perry Homes agent handle it. And it was just so nice because they were able to direct me to things that I didn't even notice, or my wife didn't notice when we were walking through the procedure. I was just like, hey, I know I've done this in my head 100 times for everyone else, but I've never been on the other side. So when we were on the other side, it was really nice to go through the walkthrough and have the agent or the super be like, that's a really good idea, but this is kind of what you want to do that's a little bit better. And just keep you level-headed for the most part. It made it so much easier, especially if you're working, and it made it so much easier for me just to be like, build a home, thank you very much. And even afterwards, like, I didn't have any problem bringing warranty work at all. It was smooth. I sent the paperwork in, they called me, took care of it. And that was before I took it over, when we had another warranty person. So it was really smooth transition. And it didn't feel like I was just a random person out there. It did feel like, hey, they're going to come in here, they're going to take care of things, and I don't have to worry.
I love it, man. The best testimonial we can get is, I live in a Perry home.
Yeah.
You live in a Perry home too,
I do.
right?
I do. Yeah.
Here's two of our customers.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking about buying one. So
There
There you go.
Well, now you have a reason why. A reason to do it.
I haven't regretted it. I'm always joke around and laugh because the wife's like, are we going to build another one? I'm like, whoa.
Easy. Just pump the brakes a little bit. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Araya. Thanks for being here today.
Awesome.
And
Thanks.
Thank you for listening. For Steve Peterson and Trevor Taylor, thank you for listening to the Perry Homes Podcast.